the I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Eric Rosener, what's up, man?
What's up? How
Dude,
you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for making the trip out on a weekend, man. And we were just talking a little bit about just chatting about comedy and stuff. And you said that's how you started out?
With performance, yeah.
With performance?
Yeah.
Was it stand-up or improv or both?
It was stand-up, yeah. I grew up very non-artistic. I was like, went to pre-med at A&M, like biology pre-med, was all set on that path. And then, you know, I got the urge to perform, so I did comedy. And then from there, music, and then, yeah.
When you say you got the urge to perform, what do you remember what the moment was where you're like, I want to perform? What was going on?
I think it was my buddies. They're now a band called the singer Scott Regal. He's in a band in Austin called Friday Boys, and he went to high school with me, and they did like a talent show, like my senior year. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do that so bad. And, you know, maybe, and I had no musical talent. I played some piano as a kid, but like didn't have any musical talent yet.
Just like the little lessons that your parents learned.
Yeah.
That was my same exact experience. What made me buy a guitar? It was just like middle school, I think 7th or 8th grade. One of my friends was in the talent show, and I was like, once I saw that, it kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
That was like the first real. I think that might have been the first live performance I'd ever seen.
It feels like magic.
Yeah.
It's
Well, you didn't know people that you knew did this.
Yeah.
It seemed like something just other people do, you know? That's pretty wild. So from there, what was the first instrument that you played then?
So it started off with keys. I picked up production and rapping. I was really into MF Doom and into like that kind of stuff. So that was like kind of first 5 years of my artistry was hip hop.
Oh, wow. So making your own beats and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Ableton,
you seem like a guy, this is a compliment, you seem like a guy that once you dive in deep.
Yeah.
You get obsessed pretty quick?
Yeah. That's kind of my whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you realize that when you were younger, that you get obsessed with it?
Yeah, less so because I just hadn't tried as many artistic outlets. I was wrestling in high school. That was my main thing besides academics. And then, it was more like, I think I actually was bad at it. I think I'm naturally bad at music, I think. And I think I had to work really, really hard, like 8 years. I don't feel like I was good till 2 years ago.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What do you think was the change 2 years ago?
No, I just put in enough time. I was doing it like hours a day for years.
Oh, like you finally hit your your 10,000 hours or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's like every time you think you're good at something, you'll see something incredible, and you're like, oh, God, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, and I also, I was naturally not good with pitch. I had no sense of pitch at all, no sense of rhythm at all. I was just handicapped with music, so.
Weird.
Took a bit.
What kind of music were you listening to before you started performing?
Not as good. I got into the Strokes, Arctic Monkeys senior year of high school.
Oh, okay. But this was when you're not really thinking about being a performer. When you were just listening to music.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I picked up Ableton, which was the start of my music sophomore year of college.
Yeah.
So before that it was like I liked the kind of stuff I don't like anymore, like dubstep in high school. I liked a lot of post-hardcore, and then I kind of got into Portugal the Man. Black Lips, The Strokes, garage rock, indie.
Did you catch yourself singing along with those things back then?
Yeah, I loved that. I didn't really know what punk music was, so when I heard that first Arctic Monkeys album, I was like,
what is that? Whatever You Say I Am, I'm Not. That album.
It's so energetic. Nothing matches that energy.
Well, that's one of those albums too where it's been out long enough that it sounds like they're copying a lot of other things. And if you're new to that band, you may not realize they kind of started that sound.
Yeah.
And it's like that album, when you first hear it and you haven't heard anything like that, it's a pretty mind-blowing album.
Yeah, it's really good. No, it influenced me.
You know what's blown my mind about that lead singer, especially on some of their more modern work?
Yeah.
It's like none of his guitar parts are excessively difficult, really.
Yeah.
But the stuff that he sings over while he's playing is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah,
that he can just disassociate those two parts so well.
Yeah, the different rhythmic differences. Yeah.
Yeah, you know that one, the more popular one, where it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom.
Do I Want to Know?
I Want to Know?
Yeah.
It's a slow, easy riff, if you're just going to play it.
Yeah.
But then when you try to sing the way he sings, exactly like him.
It's hard.
You're like, how the fuck's he doing this?
It's a pretty slow song to try to do both at the same time.
Yeah. And then watch a few clips of him live, because I thought, he's probably letting somebody handle rhythm on this. And no, he plays, man. He's got it down. That band's super impressive.
They waste their drummer a little bit with their newer stuff, I feel like. They have one of the best drummers, and he's just you're doing this very jazzy stuff. And I'm like...
You wonder, though, if that's the drummer's choice or if they're telling him to do that.
I think they're probably telling him to do that.
You think
and
so?
He's like, well, I'm in the Arctic Monkeys, so I'm going to stick around. That's probably what's going on.
Fred Armisen, from SNL.
Yeah.
He's a big drummer, and he was on one of the talk shows just sitting in front of a drum kit talking about different drum styles throughout his life. And he was talking about how, you know, like when he's young, he got obsessed with playing fast. And then when he hit another age, he got obsessed with like playing in the pocket. And so maybe that dude just hit a new rhythm of his, what he wants to try to do.
I mean, I think that's what good artists do. They don't stay the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, you guys are going to have the new album's great, by the way.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
Thank you, man.
It's in that weird zone though, where it's kind of an album, it's kind of an EP just because the length, but, but I love it, man. It's such a great, debut. That after I listened to it several times, that was one of the first things I started thinking about was, I wonder what, I know it's premature, but it's like, I wonder what the second offering is going to be like.
We already started recording a couple days ago. I set up everything so I can record drums at my house now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
You like to post. I posted a song yesterday.
That's right. You already dropped a new one. You were like, yeah, we just.
It's not dropped yet, but it was just like a little
just
teaser.
social media teaser.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's more like what the new sound's going to sound like. New guitars.
Yeah, it was a song about like anxiety or something, right?
Yeah,
Weren't you breathing in a bag or something like that?
Yeah, anxiety's trying to bust my knees.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well. How do you feel like you got to the sound of this album, Overstimulated, to begin with?
Okay, yeah. So the band started off as a duo between me and the old bassist Connor. So it was like kind of indie pop. We had like one laptop punk song, like electronic punk song, and we had one, which was Ugly, and then we had indie pop song Flaws. And as we added Chelsea, who's now our current drummer, but was also our first drummer, and when she and Will, our old guitarist, joined. It just really quickly, became more organic sounding. My production wasn't involved anymore. It was in the first two songs, but so like the next two singles, Prison and Spaceships, that's me, Will, Chelsea, Connor, and then Chelsea left for a bit. She had a lot of her own stuff going on, and then when Josh came, he's a very rock and roll drummer. He's like really tight, really energetic, really loud, big acrylic kit. And so, it's just like really the performers we had with us started changing the sound.
Yeah.
Like,
is your lineup that you currently have now the one that recorded, or was it a mixture? It is. Okay.
No, the one that recorded the album. No.
Yeah, that was the previous lineup.
Everyone's gone.
Well, first of all, like bummer that you had to change your lineup, but kudos that you were actually able to change your lineup, man.
Yeah,
that's so
hard.
difficult to find people to mesh with.
Yeah, that's where the marketing came in hand. Like, I had the reputation that people like wanted to join the band.
Oh, okay.
And that was really helpful. But actually, it was just a buddy of mine, Shibby. He's on guitar now. We had a side project called Pleasure Clone, one song out that was kind of like like indie dancey kind of stuff. I would write all the music. He would just sing and play guitar. I would like write half his parts.
I'm assuming this is the same Shibby from the song, right?
Yeah.
Was it the third song?
Which song?
Don't you have one that's like in parentheses Shibby?
No, Shimmy.
Shimmy. Oh, Shimmy. Sorry, my bad.
You're good. So Shibby replaced Will. Me and Will like kind of had a falling out about his commitment to the band. And
sure.
Then,
that old story.
Yeah, and then me and Will had a falling out, and Connor, the bassist, was stuck in between us too. So he left just kind of like to stay neutral, and I get that. And then Josh had left because his old band, the Wild Frontiers, which was really successful, got back together. So I mean,
it's crazy to me. It's crazy when you see any band staying together for such a long time.
Yeah,
because artists in general, it's like they've got a lot of their own ideas. A lot of them are real persistent. And it's hard for them because in their mind, it's this golden idea of how it's going to work perfectly, and nobody really knows which way is correct until you actually do it, and you can't do all 3 or 4 ideas at the same time.
No, yeah, I feel that. I think the reason that I'm getting so much done so quickly with my current lineup is because I probably have the most ego. Like
a true lead singer.
Yeah. I mean, like I'm aware of it, and I feel like you have to have a level of that to be a lead singer and to push your own music and put it in front of people, and like to believe in it. And so, but I think they all believe in me, and that's just really helpful. And they communicate well, which was an issue before, and they care, and that's all I can ask for.
When do you think you recognized your own ego like that?
I got into like a spiritual journey a couple of years ago. I grew up with a lot of emotional issues with bipolar and stuff like that, but got into meditation, and I just started to like realize like, not like everyone likes to paint it as a bad thing, but like nothing really is bad because good is informed by the lack of good, therefore bad. Good is informed by its lack, and so I just kind of started to realize that ego, it gets in the way, it causes trouble, but it's also a necessary tool at times, especially as a musician, where like you are the product. You got to have a developed you.
Yeah, it's a weird balance, right? Because really, a lot of very successful people in not even just artistic endeavors, anything, right? Yeah. There is that level of ego, that level of self-confidence of like, I know what I'm trying to do, and I know what I need to do it. I've always been a little, I don't know if I'm on the level as you, but I've always been that way too, where I'm real big where if I, like the bands I was in the past, I'm the one who'd be like, let's push, let's go, let's rehearse, let's book these shows, let's book this tour, let's hand out these flyers. We have to do these things because there's only a certain amount of hours in the week outside of your job and everything that you can get something done. And as fun as it is to kind of chill out and just, jam and rehearse, it's like if you've made the decision that you want to do this on a level above fun, right? There's a certain level of just work ethic you got to put into it. And that's where in several of my bands that would be an issue where you kind of have that conversation beforehand of if you want to be more serious we can do that, but I'm going to push real hard. And it's going to be uncomfortable. I'm going to tell you that from the start. And usually they'd be like, absolutely, no, we're totally down. And then once you get into it, 6 months, a year in, it's like, hey man, it's too much. I'm not having any fun anymore. And so I get it, man. How do you think you balance that now that you've got the album out of? Okay, I know I've got a little bit of this ego. I don't think it's a bad thing, but I also don't want to, make it a negative thing with the band.
Yeah, well, no, I'm very mindful and definitely very mindful of other people's emotions and needs. It's more like by have ego, I almost mean like confidence directly is almost what I'm talking about. Like, self-belief. Like it's like,
it's a weird thing to describe, right?
Yeah, no, Ram Dass said you have to become someone to become no one. And so like, I think like what drags someone to want to get rid of their ego is ego because like they're attracted to the idea of lack of struggle and lack of difficulty and things being easier because they don't have an ego anymore causing all these troubles. And that is an egoic motivation in itself. And so I think that's kind of what happened with me. And so like I think like my having the strong ego gave me the push to try to reduce it. Yeah.
I hope you don't think I'm saying ego like a negative thing.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't mean it. I just think I think there's probably other people out there who feel similar, in a similar way if they're in an artistic endeavor.
Yeah.
And like an artistic community a lot of time is real like, hey, take it easy, man. Like let's all
no.
And sometimes that doesn't get things done.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah,
I think with the way it's just working now is that like I think everyone in the band wants to be successful. I think some of the old members just wanted to play shows, and I'm trying to make this career. Like I'm trying really hard. Like I've dedicated a lot of money to get the marketing certificate. I'm just doing a lot. I'm turning it into a business, and like you have to have everyone on board with that vision.
Yeah. You were telling me before we recorded, you decided to go get a marketing certificate from SMU.
Yeah.
What made you? Were you just thinking like, okay, I'm in this band, I got to learn how to market, or how did that come up?
That was half of it, and then I was starting to do some social media stuff for my mom's nonprofit, YMSL, Young Men's Service League, pretty popular in Dallas in Texas in general.
You said it was Young Men's Service League?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a nonprofit for high school boys. They do like 100 hours of community service through their high school career.
Oh, nice.
And they do like...
So clean up the town, get a little college credit, that kind of stuff?
Yeah,
exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah, and so I was she put out a book called Giving the Ultimate Gift with the guy who wrote the book, The Ultimate Gift, which became a movie. Jim Stovall, I think is his name. Pretty famous author. So I was pushing that book. Like I was doing the social media campaigns and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I was like, I just need to know more. And I do like a lot of odd jobs here and there. I work from home half the time. So it's like,
I'm the same way. My wife, she thought maybe it would go away at some point in our marriage. We've known each other for like a really long time. She's known me since I was a teenager. And, I'm the same way. It's like, I think of a thing, I'm ready to go explore it, check it out, dive deeper. And now she knows that that's never going away. And then I've also learned like, okay, I've got to really make sure I manage time well if I'm going to have all this different stuff. If I want to stay married.
Yeah. Perpetually curious kind of person, you'd say?
Yeah. I mean, look, you got one life. Yeah. If you're doing the most with it, you've got a lot of time.
Yeah. No.
Right. But if you're kind of sitting around wasting it, not much time. It's weird how when you're working on projects, it feels like things move quickly, but also when you look back, you think, wow, I got to do a lot of neat things.
Yeah.
And I don't care about, like leaving a mark or anything. I just don't want to go, oh, I wish I would have checked that out. It's like the universe is just going to make it land where it lands. But I don't know. I enjoy doing it,
No, what's been one of your new hobby interests recently?
I mean, this takes up a ton of time. I love doing this. I've been getting... Well, right now, what's actually taking up the most of my time is running. I started running again a couple of years ago.
I hate running.
Started running marathons, and now I'm obsessed with how fast, as I'm aging, how fast can I get my marathon time down, before I'm too old to actually be able to get a fast marathon time.
Yeah, knees holding up on you?
Knees are great, man.
Yeah.
Like, all that's fine. It's, and it's one of those, it gives me, like today I did a really long run, and so it gives you a couple hours to think, right? So it gives me time to a lot of my runs I'll do no music, no nothing. And it's
That's
like
good,
just
man.
zone out, and this is like that time,
Just like kind of like fall into the moment a bit.
I've tried the sit and still meditation. I would probably need like a guide to help me through it, to actually be able to sit still. I realize now it's a skill.
The thoughts distract you a bit? Like, is that what's the issue?
Oh, yeah, it's always, in the running, with the breathing, like with worrying about
Forces you to breathe.
Yeah, it's like my way of being forced to do a breathing technique.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You want to slow your breathing. Yeah, I get that. And slowing your breathing will slow your heart rate, slow your mind, slow your... Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I'll try to keep my heart rate within a certain range on that run. So I'm the breathing starts in a pattern, and then it goes away, and now I'm just running, and then all of a sudden it's like, on this interview I'm going to have later today, and I can start thinking about just things that I enjoy. But like on a random day, thoughts just racing in and out. I mean, I don't dislike it. I think it's fun.
Yeah. Can I give you like a tip to like that? If you ever sit down and you're like watching your breath and you're trying to be mindful and the thoughts keep popping up, literally just label your thoughts. Like, this is anxiety about work tomorrow. This is blank. What that does is makes you the observer of your thought and not the subject of your thought. So the thought's not sticking to you and you're not like affected by it. You're just watching it, labeling it, and letting it float back. And it really is crazy. Like, it just switches your brain's kind of perspective to the thoughts.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. I mean, I think the challenge for me there would be...
remembering to do that.
It's not remembering to do it. It would be recognizing, like, oh, that thought's about anxiety.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking it's something different.
Or you could just label it whatever you could label it.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Right, yeah.
No, I there was like a time period where I was like, I'm gonna dive in deep on this meditation stuff. And I'd realized I had anxiety about some other things. I'd got an anxiety medication, and I was like, "Oh,
that shit is nightmare."
Yeah, it was helpful short term, but I was like, "I don't want to be on this. I don't like this at all."
No, it makes you more sensitive to anxiety after. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt like, I don't know. I don't want to discourage anybody else. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, no.
But for me personally, it just felt like this was a little Band-Aid, and you need to figure out the real issue. So I was like, okay, we're going to meditate. I got one of these apps. We're going to work on it. We're going to try it. And I realized I need to be doing physical things to get in that zone. I need to be exhausted.
Yeah, that's why I'm a big jiu-jitsu guy.
Oh, okay.
Like, it whoops your butt. Like, you can't afford to be thinking about anything but that while you're doing it.
Yeah.
And
we live here around White Rock Lake.
Yeah, that's a great place to sit out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where I like to do my run.
Yeah.
And we live in an area where, I can run from my house and get on a trail. And that's always the part that I enjoy the most, is when I'm on the far opposite side of the lake. And it's like, there's only one way back. You have to go back around,
Yeah, that's fun.
And that's the part where you're saying, it's like, you can't really think about it. You need to you're tired, but you got to get over there. And it's like, I'm not going to call my wife and say, please come pick me up. I can't do that.
It's funny that you say like you have to do something physical. What drove me to meditation was that I started to get like psychedelic experiences. Just
with your meditation?
Yeah, sober meditating.
Like, I've heard about like intense breathing techniques can give you, like an LSD trip, essentially, right?
The Wim Hof kind of stuff, maybe. Have you heard of that guy?
Wim Hof's the cold guy, right? He loves cold.
Yeah, and he does a special breathing technique. Yeah,
okay.
That stuff. But no, for me, it wasn't even crazy breathing. It was just like I was doing a little bit of like Qigong or like Chinese energy work stuff. It's just like simply like feeling your energy rise and fall with your breath. But it's really crazy. I started to get like profound, like, if you've ever done mushrooms or marijuana back in your old days, it makes your body feel a certain way, like a certain kind of tingle, a certain kind of like weight to it. And I was getting that just by just slowing everything down and watching. And it was really crazy. I mean, like, it was like one of the most profound, strong physical sensations I've ever felt. and it'll just come up sometimes. Yeah.
What type of breathing was it? Just slow breathing?
They teach in DBT, a really cool kind of therapy. You breathe out longer than you inhale, and it activates your parasympathetic nervous system.
What is DBT?
Dialectical behavioral therapy. It's a really powerful therapy for trauma and for bipolar. Even it's the only approved therapy for borderline too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you discover that? Was it recommended?
Yeah, it was. I just kind of like dropped out of Texas A&M, and I just like kind of had a little mental. And so it helped me get out of it. I did that for 3 years straight. Yeah.
The therapy for 3 years?
Yeah. It's like all skills based. So they give you like tools to regulate your emotions, tools for interpersonal effectiveness, tools for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, the breathing, that you breathe out a little longer than you inhale, and that makes your like calm down nervous system activate. Like
when you first started that therapy, were you going in that with an open mind? Were you ready for a change, or was it, I got to do this?
It was a little bit of both. Like, it was like, I was alienating myself and isolating myself through acting kind of wild. So it was just, it was necessary. And I value friendships too much to just lose them because I'm being a dumbass. So, I've always like, I feel like I kind of like really value the close friends I have. So I did that, and it became more willing over time for sure.
Yeah. Is that something that a lot of people? So is it mostly the bipolar issue that made you have to go do that, or was it something else in combination?
It was like that. I've been diagnosed with a TBI, traumatic brain injury from. I had like a brain scan done, and they said your temporal lobe, which has to do with some emotional regulation and also hearing and different things.
You can't see it, but on the back of my head over here, my hair's too long right now. But I had a craniotomy.
Oh my god!
I was in a car accident when I was 6, and I had a fractured skull and a little bit of a brain bleed.
Oh no!
And so I get real fascinated when I hear other people with. Look, I don't know. Technically, that's a brain injury, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would put that on the severity of some other people's brain injuries, because when I was 6 is when it happened, and then for several years after that, we were enrolled in a. I was so young. I think it was through Parkland Hospital, because we were here locally. The surgery was done at Children's Hospital, but it's all kind of intertwined down there. And we were in a study where I think it was twice a year I would show up, and we would do studies, cognitive studies, motor skills studies, memory, all these things. And I remember they took us on an outing to like a Dallas Mavericks basketball game.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I'd seen other patients in this study. And then you looked around and, I think I'm on the better end of this brain injury, fortunately for me, you know?
Yeah, no.
And so it's like, I kind of hate saying brain injury, but I do, you hear these things with football players, boxers. And I also, I played sports growing up. I rode dirt bikes. It's like these small minor
that thing tears your body apart. Right. Dirt bikes,
Well, and that's what I hear. You hear things like jet skis can be more traumatic for your brain than one big hit. That you're just
oh my god, really? I didn't know that.
And so that combined with a real head trauma, I get a little concerned about, as I get older, am I going to slip into something, different?
So I actually wrote a paper on preventative measures for Alzheimer's disease for Bather, Scott, and White when I was still doing like the medical stuff with school. And they said the biggest thing is exercise and not smoking are like the two biggest factors to determine whether or not you'll have Alzheimer's.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know another one was sleep. It's like
sleep is huge. Yeah, sleep.
They talk a lot about people working overnight shifts, how that's an increased carcinogen, and then they're finding that link with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah, definitely. It's like it's the time where your brain repairs itself. If you don't give it enough time, it just never gets better.
Yeah. So your traumatic brain injury, bipolar, those things, and then you end up finding that therapy. Sorry, I interrupted you for a moment.
You're good. No, so those, and then I used to I developed a bit of a problem with Adderall because I had sleep apnea, broken my nose and fighting it in a car crash, and I had surgeries and they didn't work, and couldn't breathe out my nose while I was sleeping for the longest time. And so it just kind of, I was exhausted all the time because of sleep apnea. And so then I was like, I'll take an extra half an Adderall. I'll actually take an extra whole Adderall. And then soon enough, I'm on like 120 milligrams a day, which is way too much. And I was living in Florida at the time. And I was starting audio school there. This is like 2018, way after A&M. And
Did you go to Full Sail or Media Tech out there?
I went to Full Sail for a little bit, and then it was kind of a scam. I didn't really mess with it.
I've always wondered about Full Sail. I've never met anyone who experienced it, but the advertising makes me a little cautious sometimes.
Well, no, they advertised it as a university, and then they get like sued for that the next year, and they have to retitle what they are as an institute.
Because it's not really, like, it's a trade.
Yeah.
I did a audio engineering certificate through Collin College.
Yeah, I got mine from Media Tech.
Media Tech here? Yeah. That place is solid, though. You like that?
Yeah, it was good. I wish I took it more seriously, but now I've made up for the lost time. It's cool.
You know what audio engineering school taught me is that I love music, and I can hear what a good mix is. I can go, wow, that's incredible. Whoever did that, that's great work.
Yeah.
But the steps between recording and making that great mix, that's just that's when you learn how much of an art form it is. You have to be crazy and just devote hours to that skill in a room by yourself.
I've done that.
Obsessing over a compressor. You know?
Yeah. I've been using Ableton like 4 hours a day for almost 10 years. I swear to God. Like, yeah. And I wanted to add, because we were talking about me not being a natural with music earlier, I think that the traumatic brain injury with the temporal lobe, which is hearing, I think that actually tied into me like not being a natural at music.
What age was it that you had the
we
injury?
were not sure. We got it confirmed when I was like 25.
Oh, so they think there was just a random moment that y'all weren't aware of.
I think it might have been a concussion from wrestling. I had someone slammed me on my head one time, and I had headaches for like 6 months. So,
yeah, man, that's scary. Like when you think about, you could hit your head that hard, not realize it's that bad, go to sleep, not wake up.
Yeah, this dude just lost his temper because he didn't have his ego in check. But yeah, I know I was okay. I mean, as okay as that can be. But yeah, I think that really affected. Like, I heard music differently at first. I feel like it was. I used to struggle with like the stereo image stuff a bit, and I used to struggle. I've kind of compensated for it at this point, but. Yeah, I think it was just like a big hurdle to get through because I just heard music differently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean that's such a key. The great audio engineers that I've got to meet working on things locally, you know, they just hear something, and you know they do that. Hold on a second. They start twiddling, they start tweaking, and then you just hear it magically improve, and you're thinking, that's why I would never make an incredible audio. I'm happy I went through the program just to. I know a lot of fundamentals about tracking that I'm really thankful for, and I think that's what I'm better at is. Like I said, I got to record a live comedy special, and without that knowledge, it would have been terrifying. Yeah, but I was like, I know what kind of mics to get. I know how to set things up.
You just used the 57 or?
No, I used Shure SM81s.
Okay, yeah.
And then you know, what was the one I bought? Oh my gosh!
Are you using multiple mics to do the comedy special
for the crowd? Yeah.
Oh yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I messed around with. So I had 6 total for the crowd, and we were able to hang them from the ceiling. So I was messing with kind of some off-axis things.
Yeah.
So I had, a far left, right, kind of off-axis to the crowd. And then I put a stereo pair of, I cannot think what they are right now. Oh, my gosh. I bought them, used them for that, and then sold them. They were great. I just realized.
You had no use for them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't need them, and I don't like stuff sitting around. And I liked how the 81s sounded anyway.
Yeah.
But I did those as kind of a stereo pair in the middle of the room. I was just curious what was going to happen. And then I had some up at the front of the stage facing out, a little more kind of just straight down on the audience. And, it was a good learning experience. I never mic'd a crowd like that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I haven't done that.
I kind of did some overkill just to see. I'd rather have more and not use it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ended up loving the far wide and the stereo pair in the middle.
Yeah.
And the ones on the facing the crowd directly where their voice was just going right into the mics. I hated it. It was terrible.
Yeah, you maybe turn that real low, and then if you keep it at all.
And then for the comic, I just split the feed right from his mic, straight into something, so that was easy. The hardest part was just those few, those milliseconds or whatever of echo in that room from the PA system with the
how'd you get that out? Like a gate or something, or like?
No, the gate, if it opened up while the comic... So, with comedy, like with a band, it's like you're playing, the song ends, there's crowd noise.
Yeah,
and then as soon as you start, it's kind of fading. People are like, okay,
same
next
thing
song,
with
next
comedy,
song.
yeah.
Well, with comedy, though, when if they're good and they start getting on a roll...
people laugh
the laughter's going through some of the... you're still laughing, and he's like, you know what I mean? And then this and that. While the laughter's still going. So you'd put the gate on the echo, and then if they were having one of these real loud audience moments while he's talking... You're hearing all that echo now.
Yeah.
So I used I can't even remember what the plugin is now. It kind of killed a little bit of that, but honestly, I just got real. I just spent a lot of time where I took each individual track and I tried to get that echo lined up. With the main mic, and at different parts, it was basically I was having to snip things up and kind of scoot it, milliseconds here and there, and it worked out okay. There's spots where it's real loud where you can hear it, but the average person, if I showed you, you'll be like, oh, there it is. But the average person doesn't hear any of that, and it was good. I mean, it just made me appreciate how. If you go to a facility that's actually treated the room, most live venues, there's no thought on that. It's super expensive and it's not going to make you more money.
No, I started tracking all our drums at my house now. Like, that's the demo that we put out. It just is going to save us so much money.
What kind of setup do you like on your drums with the mics?
4 mics.
Yeah,
4 mics. A U87 clone, WA87.
Okay.
Above as like one overhead, like 2 or 3 feet above the floor tom.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bright mic, keep it away from the hi-hat. Mm-hmm. And then I do like a WA19, which is like a dynamic mic is a clone of an AKG mic. Mm-hmm. And that's above the kick drum pointed at the hi-hat.
Okay.
And then that's the other overhead, really. And then just a close kick, close snare, M80 on the Telefunken M80 on the snare.
Yeah, man.
And then it just sounds so full. I got it from Kenny Beats. Kenny Beats like showed his whole drum setup. And like,
I mean, with everything that's out there now, I've grown to really appreciate someone getting the most out of a simpler setup. Yeah. Because there's just something...
I don't like the 8 mic setups on drums. No. It's hard to balance it all.
No. Yeah. What I've gotten... You were talking about Obsession. What I've gotten really fascinated with that I would like to do... do you know Joe Tacky in Fort Worth?
I've heard of him.
He runs a studio out there, Cloudland. Yeah. And we did a little project a couple years ago where he just got one mic, put one mic in the room, and had the full band around that mic. Yeah. Just one take. And then
it's surprising how good you can make that sound.
Yeah, and we made a video with it. The video is one take, too. Yeah. So we let you do as many tries as you could, but there's no editing, there's no nothing. This is it. And we did it all to tape. So you had to kind of really think about your performance, Yeah, and,
that's really cool. Dude.
It was a fun exercise, but it just made me start loving the live band recording for studio albums. Yeah. As much as you can anyway. I mean, it's hard. You can't afford studio time anymore to go sit in some big place for 2 months and get the perfect take. But
I find the takes are better at my house, like where it's more relaxed and like.
Yeah, but you can't set up your whole band there anyway, right? You're still having to track everything separate.
I'm tracking usually bass and drums at the same time. Yeah, but we don't have a bassist right now. Our guitarist is just playing bass on these tracks, and we have 2 people we're eyeing. Jay from Children of Indigo. He's like the kind of instrumental mastermind of that band. He's looking to maybe join, and then the bassist of Nip Slip from Denton is maybe considering joining too.
That's cool. Yeah, I have these dreams of I guess Spotify would have to die and something else come back where you guys can make money actually in more in easier ways, right?
No, it's merch now. It's just merch.
Yeah, but when you were doing, like, you were in hip hop before this, did you make any CDs? Did you sell any CDs?
No, I
was it past that already?
Yeah, it was past that already. I put out my first song in 2018.
Okay, so my bands that I was in, we had CDs, and you could sell. I mean, we sold
a pop. Yeah,
we were able to sell, like, in a summer, we were able to sell like 10,000 CDs for $10 a piece.
What?
You can make a shit.
You made $100,000.
I'll tell you the quick version of the story because I've told it on here before, but. Do you know what Warped Tour is? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, okay. Of course, yeah.
So Warped Tour was going around like as big as it ever was in my generation. And the band we were in was a 3-piece punk rock band. We booked this tour. It was one of those, like, we recorded an album on our own dime. We all hustled with jobs and everything. And we were like, we got to see if we can do this. So we booked up our own tour. We'd go play a show for, 50, 60 people that the other bands in that area brought. And the shows were fun. We had a good time, but you weren't selling any merch, and these were DIY shows. They didn't have a lot of money. Yeah. You're doing house shows and things. And I booked it to where Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we'd go to like a Warped Tour stop and just let's see if we can walk around with CD players, sell CDs out of hand. Just like check out our band.
I remember that.
Right? Okay, so you were probably coming in the line and you saw people like us doing that. Yeah. And first time we did it, sold 100 CDs, and we thought, wow, what a fluke. But we made money. We're selling them anywhere between, I think, $5 and $10 a piece, but most of them were 10 a piece. And this is back when people loved buying physical things still,
Some people are getting back into that, and I think they should, because like more and more music is pulling down from Spotify randomly, and more,
I think more should. I use it out of necessity, but I feel guilty every time. Yeah. But
0.3 cents a song.
Yeah, right. And we realized that we could just sell CDs. So we basically just followed the Warped Tour unofficially, sold every single day, and we didn't bring home 100,000 because we had food, we had gas, we had a lot of expenses, but we didn't lose any money. We came back with enough money to pay ourselves a little bit of cash. We paid ourselves back for the album we just recorded, and then we had money set aside for the next EP that we recorded. It was incredible.
It used to be so much easier.
Exactly. That's my point. And that's one of the reasons. And we were not. We were not an incredible. We had more work ethic than talent.
Overshare.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and there are so many good bands that if they had anything close to that classic source of revenue, they'd be on the road doing their thing.
Yeah.
But it is just merch now. And then these... I don't know what they're doing. I've been out of the live show game for a minute, but even towards the end of when I was playing in, what was that band? What year was that? That probably would have been 2016, 2017. We were playing venues where they were wanting, 25, 30% of the merch cut.
Yeah, they're glad not a lot of places in Dallas do that.
It's like,
right now.
fuck off. Yeah. What are you talking about,
That's
man?
crazy,
You got all these bar sales you're not giving us, but you want our money?
Dude, they give us the bar sales now at the good places.
Good.
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that's changing. But yeah, you need... Something needs to come out in place of Spotify that's just fair. I don't mind if Spotify makes money, but you should be paying out more than what you pay out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's tough though because like 10% of the artists or 20% of the artists are account for 80% of the listens. Like it's that 80-20 rule or whatever.
Sure.
Like it really is like there's a small chunk of artists doing all.
But I wonder if that's because they have their algorithms set up to homogenize.
Yeah.
If you like this song, you'll probably like this song, rather than throwing the wild hair in there every now and then going, why don't you give this a try?
Yeah.
You know? And I think you could fan out that percentage across more bands by giving... they're very playlist oriented.
Yeah. That's why I use Apple Music.
Throw some stuff into those playlists.
I just listen to albums. I only listen to albums.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably a good way. I thought before it got swamped by everything, I thought Pandora was much better because they just throw wild shit in there every now and then.
Yeah,
sometimes you love it, sometimes you don't. But that's how I wanted to explore music. You know?
Yeah, instead of CDs, what I've been trying to do or plan to do at shows is I bought a big chunk of $4 or $5 MP3 players, Bluetooth MP3 players off AliExpress.
Okay.
Yeah, and they come with a little SD card, and you just put the music on the SD card, put it in there. And it's got Bluetooth. It's got built-in speakers. It's like $4 or $5.
So you're just selling a little MP3 player of your band?
With every demo we've ever recorded for the past 5 years.
Oh, so you get the bonus material.
Yeah, and all the stuff we put out.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, and I'm going to just sell them like $12 a pop.
Have you got to sell many yet?
I haven't. No, I've just got them.
I'll be really interested to see how that goes. That's a fun idea, man.
Yeah, no. I
how many did you purchase to start
like
with?
20.
20.
Yeah.
You said they're about $4 each?
Yeah.
And you're selling for 12?
Yeah.
You might be onto something cool, man. Yeah. I mean, especially with the demos, these, this is the only way you can get it type stuff.
Yeah. No,
That's
I'm planning on using a link to that same list chunk of songs to try to get emails from all my fans. Like use the email bribe thing. Like, click here and then you get all this stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I like your ideas because one thing I thought you did really well, which you can, kind of educate me on was, the reason I found your band is y'all were like, fuck it, let's just record some stuff in a yard.
Yeah, it was my backyard.
Yeah. Which other people would be focused on how high production and and it's like, no, if it's good music, you can do this.
Yeah, I engineered the whole thing.
What was your mindset was that after you did your marketing courses with?
I actually got this from this marketing library called Indiepreneur, which sells which sells a library of ideas and tutorials for artists, and they called it the Fan Finder method. So I was like, cool. I tried that out. It really, really worked. I put $10 a day on it. Got 50,000 views.
Yeah. I mean, I get so bummed out on any of the social media stuff because I never.
You got to pay a little bit for Instagram now.
Well,
just $1 a day will.
I don't mean for my exposure on it. Yeah. Just the stuff I want to see.
Oh yeah.
It's all so ad based now that they're just tightening it. It's like you
don't discover anything organically anymore. Yeah.
It's who's advertising it. Appropriately. It's like, man, I just wish the people I follow, I could just get that old school chronological, Overshare posted something. I'm definitely going to see it at some point today.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, in person, now that you've put out the review on the album, what was your favorite 2 songs on the album?
Well, there are 3 that I enjoy them all. There are 3 that keeps snagging me the most right now, which Cast Iron, just right out of the gate.
Yeah, great. That whole album's in alphabetical order too.
Oh, I didn't notice that yet. See, this is another reason the CDs were great. If I had a booklet to look at where I would be able to notice that, because usually you'd throw that on and then you start flipping through. Yeah. I can tell from your digital artwork that if you had a booklet that you would get to mess with, you would probably fill it out with the stuff you think is fun, right?
Yeah.
Anyhow, and then what's the one that's part 2? Flaws Part 2?
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah,
and
that was our first song.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
First song on Spotify.
And then Don't Frown Me Down.
Yeah.
I think what I like about, it's a theme through your album. It took me a minute to catch it, right? Because, but you're playing this fun trick with the audience, with the listener, fun music, rock and roll, interesting music. Yeah. The live show is probably a great time, right?
Yeah. We try to sound like the live show.
Yeah. But the lyrics are a little deeper and darker than you'll catch on first, second, third listen, right? At first it's like, what's this goofy dude singing about? And then you start listening, it's like, oh, these are real lyrics. Yeah. It's not it's not for the sake of we're a party band, which you're not.
No, kind of.
You
live
are.
We are. Live we are.
You are. It's going to be a fun time, but lyrically, it's not like we're getting fucked up. Right?
That's I'm sad.
Yeah. It's real things. You're cleverly disguising.
That's definitely part of the
maybe
vision.
harsher lyrics inside less harsh music.
Yeah, that's
so
always been my thing.
Your diehard fans are going to connect really strong with it. It's kind of like it may be too old for you. I don't know. Do you know Third Eye Blind?
Yeah, I don't know.
Semi-charmed kind of life.
Yeah, it's
all about fucking meth and like
JC Penney commercials, and it's just a song about meth.
Yeah, which is it's so clever, and it's like you really listen to those lyrics, and you're like, Jesus, this dude was going through something.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I felt with yours is once I had a few listens and you get past the melody, right? You're used to that, and now you can really listen to the words. You're like, oh man, this dude's actually thinking about these lyrics. We're not just.
I write them within 5 minutes in front of the microphone, like my band.
Really? So you like the stream of consciousness? Huh?
Yeah. It allows me to get into the unconscious more. And
you might be able to do that a little better than some other people.
Yeah.
The way I told my wife, I was like, I feel like he is doing something that's interesting, but it's honest to himself. And there's a lot of people who try to do something for the sake of interest, and it comes across really try hard.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
I'm going to break down some barriers today or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel that way with what y'all are doing, which is I really appreciated it. So.
Yeah, I'm trying to think on I asked you what my favorite. I don't even know what my favorite is. I think my favorite lyrics are probably. I like Moment of Intimacy's lyrics. Those were good ones. It was like a conflicting story. Like I had this. I was dating this woman. I posted about this on Instagram, but I dated this woman who came out as a lesbian after we broke up, married a woman later. Mm-hmm. And so naturally our relationship was a bit rocky because, she wasn't meant to be with me. That's just how it was. And so she had asked me she's like, you always write sad songs. Why don't you write a nice song? And so started writing a nice song about her. That's where that chorus came from. Broke up halfway through the song being written. And then I finished it. And then, so that's
interesting. How long were y'all together?
A year and a couple months.
Did she say when she knew, like when she figured out like this isn't it?
Well, we broke up and then she let me know a few months later. So.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That was kind of her to not kind of sprinkle it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. That's changing a song halfway through, huh?
I was like, I'm just gonna have sad verses and upbeat choruses, and it'll show the confliction.
Yeah. Which one do you think you're most proud of right now?
I'm really proud of that demo I posted the other day, but off that album, because on that demo I'm singing a lot more, and I think the new stuff I'm going to do is going to be more singing oriented. Mm-hmm. But still some talking. But I think I'm Sad is definitely up there, and then. Hate Song. I really like. I like what I did on Hate Song with the verses. They're very weird. It's a little rappy almost. It's like.
Yeah, that adds up though with your background, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the key. Just doing what you want to do.
Yeah. No, I just did what I could do. I couldn't sing at first. I just now recently got the ability to sing okay. Mm-hmm. So, doing so many live shows at first, my voice was perpetually fried out. And so I could never really improve it. And so then having this time away from doing a lot of shows has been really helpful.
Were y'all playing shows before you recorded?
Yeah.
How long was an average set when you were first starting?
We first started 28 minutes, and now they're 35 minutes max. Still.
Yeah.
Short songs, like
when you came out with your style's unique, right?
Yeah.
The first couple times you were popping on the stage, were you worried? Is this version of me singing going to be accepted, or people going to dig it? Or
well, that's why I got good at the live element of performing, like the physical element of performing, is because I had to make up for that.
pretty nervous about it then?
No, I was just like, no, can't be nervous. Just have to be good.
Okay.
So
you weren't thinking like my voice is really different. What if people don't like it?
Dude, I literally did like amateur MMA fights in college, like in front of 1,000 people with a referee, and then fighting somebody. So like,
you're okay.
My nerves are fine.
I guess once you've been beat up in front of people. Well, that's good, man. There is an element to if you are afraid, you're hiding it, right? It seems like there's a lack of fear, which is great.
Yeah.
I haven't got to a live show. I've just been watching the clips, and
they're fun though. I did a lot of judo, and that gave me the ability to jump up in the air and just land on the ground. If you saw any of those,
yeah, I've seen a couple of those where I'm like, Jesus, man, come on, don't break the shoulder right here.
I landed on a microphone one time and flattened it at Tulips.
Yeah.
Flattened the microphone at Tulips.
Yeah,
Well, a big bruise. Yeah.
How have your live shows been in terms of with your marketing background now?
Yeah,
with your approach to things. What do you think your approach is to getting crowds out to venues? Are you able to yet? Is this something you're still working on? Because it's tough for every band right now to get. Even if you're good, I think it's a little harder to convince people to come down, pay for some parking, buy a ticket, come to a show.
Yeah, no, it's I depend on my big network of friends, and then I stay close with so many people, like people that I haven't talked to for a few months. I'll text them and just stay close with them. So then. I'm not using them for like an audience, but no, then it allows me to kind of naturally reach out. Like, hey, you want to come to the show? If they say no, cool. But since I have like 50 acquaintances like that, it can help bring crowds. And then
how many shows do you think you've played so far?
Over 100.
Over 100, yeah. So you're hitting it pretty hard then.
Yeah, we were for a while, like from like 2021 to 2023, we were just doing like 3 or 4 a month. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, you learn a lot from those live shows, right?
Yeah.
When you take it out of the house, out of the recordings into a live show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, it's a different live show now. We've done one show without the old lineup, and it's different. Chelsea, our drummer's a bit dancier. It's a little more of an indie feel, but I'm still able to like. I actually am glad because I can tone down my physical performance a little bit and focus more on singing, and it works with what everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
I used to have to, part of the reason I was finding my voice and yelling all the time was because our drummer had an acrylic set and he was so loud.
I see.
Yeah. And so I could never like really underperform, like tone back their performance. I always had to be at 110.
Yeah. I listened to a interview with Jack White where he was talking about him and Meg in the White Stripes. He played on this Silvertone amp. It's got 6 10-inch speakers. And everybody would get angry, turn it down, all the sound people. And he's like, it's just me and Meg. He's like, and I'm talking to her about playing loud. And he's like, I got to turn it up. It's just us two up here, Yeah. And, sound volume on stage for bands is a real interesting debate, right? Like I know with your audio engineer, it's like people want you to get a small amp, keep it under control. We're going to mic it up anyway. But then there's elements of rock and roll where we're like, can we just like crank this shit out?
I'm excited.
Isn't that part of it?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. I'm excited to see. I'm doing a partnership show with Mental Health America of Dallas, November 15th, I believe. And we're being our own audio engineers, our own everything on this. It's at a brewery that doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
So we're like,
you think you'll just do vocals through PA and everything else?
Yeah,
amps?
exactly.
Yeah. I feel like if you
nothing wrong with that, you just got to balance it.
You got to dial it in a little more.
Yeah.
But if you take a little time up front, I think that's a really great way to experience a show.
Yeah, I'm gonna have like probably my guitarist, just yell while he's playing. Everyone else is playing.
Yeah.
And just see, kind of get the levels right. And
yeah.
Then,
have you heard that cliche about the the best like music clips you hear these days are the shittiest recordings?
Yeah, a lot of them, man.
Yeah. That's exciting, man.
I wish that digital had some sort of character to it, though. Like shitty old recordings, like on 4-track tape recorders. Like they sound cool, but shitty recordings now.
Yeah. I think it just comes down to I don't know, maybe accepting you can do a lot with a little. Find something that is less technology, maybe.
Yeah.
And make the best. How can I make a 4-track sound as best, in terms of your room, your setup. It's a lot more work, but like you said,
I'm really good with plugins though, man. Like I'm very good with sound design, so I'm able to usually kind of with shitty recording like make something good. So
I would like to, in a dream world, endless money, right? I would like to have a studio that.
Me too, man.
But I would like mine to specialize in records that I don't want to make a live recording in the sense of a live show.
Yeah.
But I wish we had the budget to sit you all down, huge rooms, space you out, so we can get everything tracked.
Yeah.
And let's just wait till you feel like that was the take. You want to play it 10 times? You want to play it 40 times? You want to play it for 2 weeks?
Oh, like that. What's the Seattle radio station? Is it K? It's not KEXP.
Maybe.
Yeah, they do like a thing like that. Like it's like an interview while they're all in front of their instruments, and then they play songs, and then
I mean, how many of those recordings sound incredible, right?
Some of them.
Some of them sound incredible.
Yeah.
And I think if you could make a studio to mimic that environment, take out the interviews, just go, we're going to record today until you like it.
Yeah. No, you know
how it is, just looking across at your band member. Just sometimes you get that. It's hard to tell. There's just that magic moment.
Mm-hmm. I know you need that chemistry, especially between the bassist and the drummer.
Like one of the XM studios, they just recorded this band, Royal Otis. They did their live cover of Linger by the Cranberries.
Oh, wow.
And it's a beautiful live cover that they did. And now it's their number one, song that's getting played.
And they're putting it out on Spotify, I bet.
Of course, it's huge.
Yeah.
And but it is, you look at it and you go, God, that was just a really cool, natural performance. They thought, hey, we're doing this studio show today. Let's throw a cover in there.
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. It really is like some stuff like you don't think. Yeah, the more thrown together stuff, the stuff that's more authentic and natural because it's been less thought about.
Mm-hmm. I think something about the pressure.
Yeah.
The tape's expensive. We're going to run out.
Yeah.
We only have so much time today.
Yeah.
I don't know because
I do good under pressure.
It's a double edge, right? I think you come in. That comedy special I recorded, out of necessity, we only recorded one show.
Oh, wow.
He went up, he did one performance, and we worked with that. And so he, for months beforehand,
was rehearsing, yeah.
I mean, he told me, he's like, I go to the gym every day. He's like, I need to clear my mind. I need to stay in shape. He's like, I need to stay focused for this performance.
Yeah, it's true.
Which is not a very, stand-up comedian type response.
They're more drink their way through the set.
Yeah, and a lot of the professionals way above our level, I consider us professionals, but you're higher level.
Yeah.
They'll do 2 to 4 shows, splice in the best bits, from each one, and that's fine. I know you're putting it out there, and you want to put your best foot forward. You're going to burn this. It's not like a song.
But there's something to be said for the authenticity in that.
I think you'd be better off going, it's tonight.
Yeah. No.
And I think that pressure would make you.
Pressure makes diamonds, baby.
Yeah, I think if you go, well, the next show we'll get them. Maybe you lose something. And then I also think there's just really beautiful parts in the flaws when you made that mistake in your set, but it turned into this really unique moment you didn't imagine.
I think it was Brian Eno that said the flaws of every medium become their defining characteristics that everyone loves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about that Silvertone amp with Jack White, I think it was in that they did that show, It Might Get Loud.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's him, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin, and The Edge from U2. Just 3 guitarists from 3 different generations, 3 different styles. Yeah. They sit them down in a room, and they just kind of talk music, and the documentary kind of goes a little bit into their background and their styles. But at several different points, they're just jamming out a little bit, playing each other's songs and kind of showing them their styles. But I think there was one point in there where he talked about the Silvertone amp being the cheap amp back in the blues days, right? So everybody wanted a Fender. Fender was expensive, so your white musicians who had money got the Fender amps. Your poor black blues and jazz musicians could afford the Silvertone amps because they were cheaper. Mm-hmm. Well, they were better, those musicians. Yeah. So that ended up kind of creating that sound through the shitty amps. And then they became more coveted amps later on. I got to get that sound, So like you said, the flaw kind of defined it, right?
Yeah. I had a question back to the comedy thing.
Yeah.
If you were to guess just a comedian that you thought I liked a lot.
Ooh. That you like, I don't know what makes you laugh yet. I don't know.
I'll tell you. I can tell you my top 2 probably.
Okay. Well, yeah. Let me hear them.
Probably Emo Phillips, Norm Macdonald.
Okay. That tells me a lot about Emo Phillips, by the way. That's like, how old are you?
30.
30? I would have thought you would have not known who Emo Phillips was.
I know everything. Man.
Hey, there you go. Well, yeah. Well, going back to, straight up originality there, right?
There's something almost zen about his delivery. It's so, I don't know, I love the way he performs, dude. It's cool.
Yeah. That's one, too, where I wonder how many times that person got told you need to change your act. It's not going to work. Right?
Yeah.
Some expert.
No, I've been told he's like that.
What do you mean?
People have met him, and they're like, he's like that.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah.
There's this guy out of Austin called Casey Rocket. Have you heard of him? You might want to check him out. He's young, he's new, but he's been on this huge podcast called Kill Tony.
Wait, is Uncle something?
Uncle Laser? Is
that
no.
Okay. People say I look like him. I'm like, no, I don't.
Oh. No, this guy, he's got a real wild style, and people love him or hate him.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of curious to see where it all goes, because he clearly has talent, ability.
Yeah.
It's not lightning in a bottle. He's got something. It'll just be how much does the public really love it. And right now he's doing well. He's selling out shows. He's doing great things. And they kind of compare him to the way Robin Williams was a little manic on stage at times.
Yeah.
Real interesting guy to watch, though. You might find him kind of fascinating.
Okay.
Especially since he's
Casey
relatively
Rocket?
Yeah, relatively unknown. But
that's cool, man.
That's interesting. Norm Macdonald, it doesn't get much better than that.
Dude, he would have like 12-minute setups for jokes. Like, it was the craziest shit.
And it's just that's the beauty of that craft, is he just takes you directions you never imagined we were going to go.
My favorite is talking about Germany going to war with the world. He's like, who do they think they are? Mars? Yeah.
Yeah, man, he's great. I identify with
I also
yeah, go ahead.
Hannibal Buress also.
Well, yeah, man, he's great.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear his old flaming Dr. Pepper bit?
No.
When we'd go on road trips, I'd throw on Pandora on comedy and just let it throw it. And he has this great bit about the guy who invented the flaming Dr. Pepper, and like what that must have been like down in the basement or whatever, working on it.
Yeah, he's that dude's brain, man.
Did you watch him on Broad City?
Yeah.
Great character there too.
Yeah, and then Eric Andre's show. And stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's a weird dude.
Yeah, man, he's out there. He is.
It's performance art,
he reaches he's maybe one of the few people that can make me really uncomfortable when I watch him. He just goes to levels that you thought, holy shit, how does he get there?
Some of the pranks he does on random people in the street. There's this one where he's trying on wigs, and it's just, I don't know. It's just like these poor people.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. That's the part that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Is there? It feels like
I'm too empathetic for that shit.
I was gonna say, if we have victims. Like,
yeah.
I've always identified with angry comics.
Yeah. Really?
But I think they. There's just a lot of things about the world that just get me riled up,
Mm-hmm.
And hearing Bill Burr's probably my absolute favorite.
Bill Burr's good, man.
Just hearing him intelligently talk about something that is bothering him, like it's an immature thing that he's upset about, but it's like no, this really is a thing we should be worried about. It's just you feel like you're the only person getting bothered by it.
I feel like sometimes I see like a little like hints of Carlin and him that like you sometimes people like, oh, like if they're copying that guy, like that's like like a very comedian thing to do, but I see like kind of hints in him and his social commentary and stuff like that. And
not as he's not trying to be the guy in the black sweater, let me tell you. But he'll say stuff that's real in the most offensive, funny joke. But you think about it, it's like he had this great bit about abortion, where he'll kind of bring you back level. Where he was like, I think women should have 100% the right to choose anything about this is your body. Absolutely. He's like, but also, I think we need to recognize we're killing a baby. So, it's one of those, like at the start of the joke, they're all like, woo, here we go. Great.
The misdirection. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, what's wrong with a little levity here?
Yeah.
It's not a thing we really want to discuss.
Yeah.
And we can find the appropriate way to deal with this. But let's not lie to ourselves either. And I'm not I don't have a big like abortion kick that I get on or anything.
No.
But it's just an example of his thing,
No, I feel like it's really important that comedians feel comfortable making those risks or taking those risks, like because nowadays, especially, I'm politically, definitely try to be progressive, but I feel like there is this like level of like people, like certain people don't want people to have voices, and like like if they had voiced the wrong opinion, and I'm like, we got to allow people to be wrong sometimes,
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with you having any opinion you want, right? But you have to acknowledge.
You got to try to grow. That's all.
You got to acknowledge you're going to be wrong.
Yeah,
and if somebody's going to tell you you're wrong at some point, and you have to be an adult and go, I need to reevaluate, right?
Yeah.
I think that's tough for everybody. I think what's really tough for everyone is just appreciate, no matter what your really tough beliefs are, everybody's coming from a similar place of just trying to find their own version of happiness through life.
Yeah.
Happiness, security. Most people want a sense of purpose of some kind. There are a few people who don't give a shit, and they're like, I'm cool being nothing, and it's fine. It's like, hey, good for you.
Jealous, yeah.
But, it's all rooted in happiness and safety, right?
Yeah.
I just want to know I can live my life without any major problems.
Yeah, happiness is more of a skill than an object, but yeah.
Well, I think they believe, though, if I get this hot button political issue to match my belief, it'll solve the problem. It's like, I don't really think that's it. Pick whatever it is, right? Guns, abortion, religion, all these things.
Too much identity. Like people put too much identity in the beliefs, into their beliefs. And I'm like, no, that's not who you are. That's just what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love, one of the things I dove deep on is just, I love anything studying about just kind of the universe, the cosmos.
Yeah.
To me, that's the ultimate question we should be looking into.
Yeah.
Is we don't know
anything.
Why any of I
don't have a unified theory.
I can't get my brain around the idea of a like a Russian nesting doll, where it just keeps going deeper.
Yeah.
We used to think it was just the Earth, then we found out about the solar system. We used to think it was just that, then we found out about the galaxy, and it's like, okay, that's the whole universe is the Milky Way galaxy, and then they determined, okay, now we've got billions and billions of galaxies, and it could be endless.
Yeah.
And my mind keeps going around. Okay, well, when we find, even if that goes on for infinity.
Yeah.
Is there something potentially housing infinity?
Yeah.
And these levels keep going. And then if you're religious, right? Pick your religion. It's like, okay, this person, this thing is the creation of that religion. It's like, yeah, but where did they come from, right? Like, what's the next level to that? And so to me, it's like, hey, listen, I don't care about your argument. I don't care about your belief. I'm just really curious to see prove it either way you want. Let's just get into this.
Just talk about it.
Yeah, get into it. Let's get some real scientific study, and it's like, if you believe it's a white man with a beard, get some scientists on it, and let's see if we can prove it, right?
That's why, I feel personally, I'm a bit more on the spiritual side. I feel like there's something real to like Qigong, like the energy they're working with, or Tai Chi, that kind of stuff. Like, I believe that it's something that Western science has just overlooked, because it's just so clear to me how real it feels. And I feel like that. I've read scientific studies that out of China, for example, that say that it really does work for health and stuff like that. And then you see all that tends to get rejected from Western science, and I think some of it's almost like they just don't want too much woo-woo stuff.
Well, you were pre-med. I think that's what they're trying to do. I think that's what they attempt to do with what is it? A doctor of osteopathic medicine, like a DO.
Yeah.
They try to do a more well-rounded, like, what are the things in your life, your environment that might be contributing?
I'm actually getting a wellness coaching certificate.
Okay,
right
yeah.
now, so it's like that stuff. Yeah.
So I think as much as I love the universe study, right?
Yeah.
And as much as I'm not a person to go out there and think like, to say I don't believe religion exists at all.
Yeah.
But what I will say is I don't give two shits about anybody's organized religion.
No.
Okay,
it's just serving the people.
Yeah. It's like
the wrong people.
I don't care about that. If you enjoy it, that's wonderful, and I think you should have that place for yourself. But I personally, I don't think that's the answer in that particular form. But I think if I were to go, it's all the universe, knowing that every 100 years or so, we, the way they learned about the atom.
Yeah.
How they used to think it was all these, like it was bread pudding at one time, and the way they described it, to think that we've got it all figured out, that's a whole other level of ego.
Yeah, I know. That's why I get in arguments with very like scientific-y people. Sometimes I'm like, we don't know shit. But,
and that's what I love about science, though, is good science.
Yeah.
Is with what we have, this is what we think is happening, and we're willing to hear anything else and change that if necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that if you love a certain religion, you should feel an obligation to dive as deep into that as you can to get out the fluff and find the facts. Yeah. Because I think you're right. I think it is a blend of, we'll call it spirituality, right? I don't even know if that's a great term for it because it feels a little, feels like you're putting it in this really narrow. Right? But it just from your band, there are moments where things just feel like things are lining up.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's crazy. It makes you feel woo-woo, like it just lined up. I don't know how to describe it.
That's what I think manifestation is. I think we're always constantly manifesting, but our mindset will determine if we're manifesting positively or negatively, and we just have to align ourselves with that, and then everything falls into place.
You're asking me about this light I have, and I bought that light when I was running merch for a band, and I was like, I want a cool light for their band table, and things went well. It was fun. And then I stopped working with them, and every little artistic endeavor, I just decided I'm going to bring that with me, and it'll just be a little part of, I did this live vinyl recording for a band called Brave Little Hal, and there was an audience there, and I just made sure to put the light in a little corner. It's never front and center, just somewhere in the room. And something about that, I just feel like I need this. There's just all this good energy from all these projects there. And I like having it around. Yeah. And if it breaks and goes away, then that's what was meant to happen to it, and we had some good times with it. But I try to bring it to everything I can. Even that comedy special we recorded, I brought it. I just had it like in the back of the room. It was not contributing anything. I just wanted it
for the aura.
For me, it was. Yeah. And so, as scientific as I can be about things, I'm still like, well, make sure we bring the light.
Make sure. No, I think it's a balance, and really it comes down to trust those who claim to be seeking the truth. Don't trust those who claim to have it. Mm-hmm. That's what you're saying about the scientific thing. It's refining constantly over time.
Anybody preaching anything, no matter what it is, might be a little too confident.
Me too, man.
Might be a little too confident, right?
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah, I don't know. The religion, especially, we're here in Texas, so you can throw a rock any direction, hit a couple churches, right?
Yeah.
And it's so confident, so confident when you talk to people who are really passionate about it.
Yeah, it's just, and I don't know, it's tough, to see the ego traps other people in that you can see so clearly, and just be like, come on, why don't you just let go of that part of yourself and just accept that this is that's probably bullshit,
right? Yeah, I think if you go to a church, you believe there's some sort of divine higher power, and that by going to these church communities, it empowers you, or maybe it inspires you to do more good than bad. Mm-hmm. How can I help people around me, my community? Yeah. How can I better this world when I leave it?
But that's not enough of those people who go to church.
Yeah, but then that little collection plate rolls around, obviously some are much better than others.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of that money is going to help people depending on the church.
Depends on the church, right?
Depends on the church. Yeah.
And that's the thing. If you want to run your thing, I don't care. Just come on, have your ethics, have your morals.
Yeah, I was always frustrated by my brother was was working at Watermark Church for a while.
Yeah.
And I was really frustrated by their stance. They don't let anyone in leadership be openly gay. And I'm like, how is that any different from any other sin, like lying? You guys don't ban liars. You don't, it's...
Yeah. Again, somebody is taking that as their personal stance.
Yeah.
And it's not the right...
It's not right. It's not right.
I mean, every church, right? Yeah. A good church of any faith, in my opinion, should be, is it hurting anyone? No? Okay, we're fine. We're fine here, right?
Yeah.
Are you gay? Yeah. Not a big deal. Yeah. We're not hurting anybody, right? That's your thing? Cool. Do I understand it? No, but that's fine.
Yeah. But we also don't have to understand it.
Yeah. Are you hitting people with 2x4s in the back of the head? Yeah, we can't do that.
Yeah, pretty much. Right?
Yeah, right? If it doesn't harm anything, it just, you don't get it.
No, and there's a place for the community of church. And nowadays, especially in the South, with everyone kind of predisposed to the way they are, the community it offers, the kind of reminder to focus outside of yourself, it can be really big. And I don't care if it's if I think it's perfectly harmless. I mean, for the most part, I think it can give a lot of structure to people and be good for them. But I just think it's their responsibility not to be assholes.
Yeah, my favorite type of religious person is the one where if you ask them questions about something, not even trying to probe into them, just talking to them, they're just like, yeah, this part I like, that part I like. It's like, what about those other parts? And they're like, it gets a little dicey there. I don't know. Where there's just a little bit of understanding of
that's a little weird. Yeah.
That one, verdict's still out on that part, right?
Yeah. There's this one verse in Ezekiel where God tells him to make this special bread out of these grains and then cook it over human excrement and then eat it and while laying on his side for 40 days or something. And he's like, not so, sovereign Lord. And then God's like, okay, you're right. Never mind. You don't have to do that. and I was just like, guys, did you read that part? Did you guys read that part?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
My wife and I, we joke all the time. I'm getting more and more convinced that we are a simulation of some kind. I don't know.
I don't know. I think that maybe like the fabric of the world works kind of that way. Like, there's this whole like hologram theory, like CIA was into when they did all their astral projection stuff. If you can actually read these declassified documents about their astral projection studies that they say they confirmed, but the way they describe the world, it's like it is a hologram. It's like a reflection. It's like it's not the actual reality. But, you know, so I can see why people would think we were in a simulation.
Yeah. Or maybe that's just what life is. Maybe that's the way life makes itself, is through whatever this projection is.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? I think, you know, and we should be funding billions and billions of dollars into these types of
I think
questions.
That and like saving the planet from going extinct in 100 years should be number one priority, man.
This is my biggest problem with politics right now is I don't care if you hate going green or you want to go green, all these things, right?
Yeah.
I just think, well, so when the pandemic happened, and here in Dallas, I think we had maybe a real solid 2 weeks where it was the most locked down we were, and people were truly staying home for about 2 weeks, and then we all kind of went back in different phases, right? But it was noticeable, right? The higher air quality, all these things, water quality was getting better. These things were better, and that was happening around the world in different countries when they were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like, look, so you can argue as much as you want about should it be an electric car, should it be a gas car, should it be hydrogen, whatever you want to do, I don't care. But my only point is we should be doing whatever we can to have the air clean, the water clean, the ground clean, food clean, right? Yeah, I mean,
our food is shit here.
So we just had this conversation. We have a 4-year-old. So we're having to read all these labels. We don't want to poison this little guy. Like, you know.
No, I, as someone with ADHD, I really did find like the artificial colors, dyes, like fucked with my shit. Like,
well, and it just makes sense. Yeah. Can we just keep the food as natural as possible?
Yeah.
You know, we were buying shredded cheese. It's got wood filler in it.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm assuming it's to keep it from sticking together or something. I don't know. It's like, well, fuck, just give me a block of cheese and we'll shred it, I guess. But but again, why did we have to go that route at all? Shouldn't have somebody been like, we probably shouldn't do that. Of course.
Man. Yeah.
Of course. And that's the thing that bothers me about politics, where you're not discussing these things the way you should, because I know they're all bought. I know they're bought by different corporations. I get it. And that's where I start loving Bill Burr, because he's one of the few people who can articulate it in a way that makes it sound like nonsense. It just happens to be funny.
You know, I really do think I love the comedians that can make reality sound surreal. Yeah. You know, like I love that. Like, yeah.
I mean, just the fact that we eat food that's banned in more than one country should be all you need to, you know, we should have a government that goes to these whichever food corporation it is and go, hey, did they ban this in Canada? Did they ban this in Europe? Yeah. What the fuck are you selling it to us for?
Food was so good in Europe, man. I went to like Czech Republic, and I had the best pizza of my life in the Czech Republic of all places.
Right.
Yeah.
There is talk about how the way we had to modify our crops to grow larger yields, that is what's making us struggle to digest and having other digestion issues. And that because those other countries, like when you go to Europe, that they didn't do that. That's why pasta, pizza, those things over there, they just hit your stomach differently. Yeah, you don't feel miserable.
And you don't have sugar in everything you eat. So when you do have sugar, it's like, whoa. You know.
I have noticed that with our 4-year-old. We've been real conscious about avoiding sugar. Yeah. And we talk to him. You know,
it's the number one thing for cancer and all that stuff.
Well, I mean, I was raised in the 90s and 2000s, right? When literally I'd be going to school, we'd stop at the little local gas station in the morning, and like for breakfast,
have a donut.
Yeah, for breakfast you'd get one of those Mrs. Baird's cinnamon rolls with like the cherry filling in it and a Dr. Pepper. And then, you know, we're sitting there wondering why I can't pay attention in class very well.
Yeah.
Right? But we had our parents' generation hadn't caught on that we were all being poisoned, right?
But they have now. I mean,
now
my parents are eating like healthy and shit.
Well, we've noticed with him that, I mean, one little tiny scoop of gelato or ice cream or something that we give him every now and then, and he's amped because he doesn't get sugar all the time, so he doesn't have that tolerance of sugar. He's not just on sugar. So now when you see how it really hits him when we try to not give him a lot, you're like, damn, this stuff is strong, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've heard that like people challenge the idea that it can be stimulating, but I imagine for a small child, just like the amount of like energy they get, like calories.
Yeah.
Like, like, I don't know, just like
Fast acting.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you have any doubt, you can come over. We'll give him a scoop of ice cream, and you can see it. He gets excited about stuff. We have to,
he's excited.
We make sure we're going to do something where he can burn it off.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
we're going to get a scoop of ice cream, go to the park, and have at it, man. Go
you guys
crazy.
do screen time?
Yeah.
You like divvy it out, like you withhold it a little bit. And
we base it around his attitude and his ability to listen throughout the day.
Yeah, that's such a good way to parent.
We try. I don't know if it's right.
I think it is. You just like observe your child. People don't do that.
Every generation thinks they have this shit figured out. So I don't claim to say we've found the way, but
I think
we try to make it somewhat of a reward. Hey, you did a great job listening today. We try to keep them very active throughout the day, and we try to make TV screen time of any kind if it's first if we need a minute. Like if I need you to just do something so I can get something done, it's definitely a tool for that. And then it's in the evening. We'll watch calming shows that are winding you down right before bedtime. I don't know about the screen right before bed though, right?
Yeah. So. Do you ever worry that like doing the whole reward for good, punishment for bad thing? Like the people kind of criticize. So there's some criticisms of like that. Obviously, you have to do that to a degree with your kid, but like there's going to be a point where they start to expect to be rewarded for their good behavior, and they don't when they're older, and then they're like, "Oh no." Have you ever worried about that?
We worry about it a lot, right? For instance, yesterday he went to a little kid's birthday party. He's 4. The party had they all showed up dressed in costumes, and then they had a pool. So at some point they were like, "Hey, if you guys want to change in your swimsuits, we can swim in the pool."
Yeah.
And he is not a strong swimmer yet. He's been through swim classes, so he's got these little floaties. He gets embarrassed because he's wearing them in front of kids his age who don't have to wear them. And then he just wanted his goggles so that he could go underwater and not hurt his eyes if he put his head under.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to wear the life jacket. We don't have the goggles. It's not even an option, right?
No.
And this caused such a meltdown that we just had to leave. So in that moment, when you're at a little kid's birthday party, he's amped up. He's more hyped.
Sugar.
He hadn't even had sugar yet.
Oh, really?
He's just more hyped up than he usually is because his friends are there. They're having a great time, and you want that to happen, right? Have a good time. So when he starts melting down about these goggles, how much do you feel like you want to stay there and try to talk it through versus, hey, we don't act like this around our friends. We're making our friends have a bad time.
I think that's the right move.
And that's what we did. So we removed ourselves. We gave them some opportunities. We removed them. And then the rest of the day was just spent talking about, when we're around our friends, we're not going to scream like that. Yeah. The big thing I struggle with is I don't want him to fake cry and cry over nonsense, but you don't want to teach him, don't cry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So trying to differentiate with a 4-year-old, like,
it's hard.
If you're hurt or you're really sad, this is okay.
Yeah.
But if you're mad about your goggles, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I feel like this.
So I don't know, but I think everything you do, there's some other parent who's like, well, that's the wrong way.
I think just the sooner you can give him a sense of other is like the goal. Yeah.
The thing I'm most proud of with him right now is, I waited tables for a long time, and just people don't know how to act in public, right? Like you said, no sense of that table over there. That might be the one day this week they're going out to eat, and you're ruining this experience for them just being jerks, right? Yeah. So when he was around 2, 3, we started talking a lot about like inside voices. You're going to sit down, you're going to listen. But I would just explain it. I'd just go, you see all these people? He goes, yeah, but none of them want to hear you. Nobody here wants to hear you at all. And he just kind of look around, and it felt kind of aggressive, but maybe like a year later, if we were sitting somewhere and there was a loud kid or even a loud adult, he'd go, they're too loud. Nobody wants to hear them. They need to use their inside
that
voice.
Stuff sticks with the kids, man. Like the smallest things.
I feel like that was a win because for the most part, he's pretty well behaved when we're out. He'll look around at things. We're talking to him a lot right now about not staring.
Yeah, hey, that's hard for me, man.
Well, we just tell him if you're going to stare at someone, say hello, say hi.
Yeah. Hi.
and then break eye contact, right?
Yeah.
I still don't know what kind of little person he's going to turn into. So I don't know what we're doing that is great, what we're doing that's going to not work out. And I don't worry about it too much. I just think,
well, you seem to worry about it, which that's all that matters.
Yeah, that's what I figured is if you just try your best. We try to make sure he's not a little asshole to strangers and other people and his kids at his school and stuff. So I think that's the best you can do, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know. You have any kids yet? No?
I have a girlfriend, but no kids.
Just wait till you're ready, man. It's all good.
Yeah, no, that's the
It's all good, but it's totally life changing. So make sure you're ready.
Your life becomes someone else's life for the next 18 years.
You know what the biggest advice I could give right now is before I had a kid, right? Your moment right now, I thought I was busy. I didn't really appreciate how much time in the day I had
I've already
to get stuff done.
Man.
Okay, great. I love that. I just wish more people would think before they had those obligations. When you feel like you don't have time, well, you're just not great at time management yet.
Yeah, that was I had a former friend of mine who I was frustrated with. That this girl had broken up with him like 9 times, and he got her pregnant, and he like kept it to save the relationship, and then he's like, oh, I don't want and he's like anti-abortion and anti all this stuff, and I'm like, dude, you just brought this kid into this world that you don't care about, like.
Yeah.
No,
if you're going to make that call, you got to buck up. Come on. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah, but some people just can really only see them, Yeah.
Well, what was your childhood like?
I'm youngest of 4. Grew up with well-off parents in Plano.
Okay.
Yeah, they were pretty hands-off at first. Like they just simply They weren't big communicators about talking about feelings. That's something they got better at later, like towards the end of high school. Mm-hmm. But it was like, just they were kind of the way like a lot of boomers are, like kind of private with emotions. Mm-hmm. And so I was a very emotional kid, so it was kind of weird. But growing up with people who are like suppressing emotions when you're a very emotional child. But I had do
you remember an example of when you or what they would consider to be overly emotional, and they're talking about suppressing it? Is there any moment you think about?
Well, I was dealing with like some mental health stuff in high school, and I expressed that I was having suicidal ideation, and I got grounded for saying that.
Yeah,
because like how dare you? You're disrespecting God and all this stuff, and then
okay,
and like now they're like, oh, sorry, that was a little rough.
It's real interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they just didn't know how to deal?
They just didn't know how to deal with it. They're great people. People. Like they just weren't equipped for that.
Yeah, because you think about their parents.
Yeah,
you never would have said anything like that to your parent if they were being them.
Yeah,
that's interesting. That when they said you're grounded or whatever saying this, where did your mind go after that?
I don't quite remember. Probably further down.
Yeah.
But
because you're thinking I just opened up here and
it's not great, but like they caught on and they became very supportive with mental health. But yeah, I was like kind of the clumsy. I had some bullying growing up, but like I had a good parents who cared. It's I didn't like develop like sports is a way kids can shine and make friends and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I wasn't very athletic, so it didn't really work out that way. But then I turned like 20 and I just all of a sudden got big.
Were you wrestling in high school or was that after high school?
I was like 5'2" until I was like 17, so I picked up wrestling because I was so small in those weight classes. And so I was wrestling in high school and then took up MMA in college. And
do you feel like even with wrestling you said you struggled to make friendships?
Even towards like 10th grade I started smoking pot and made friends that way.
Yeah, you'll make some friends. Yeah. That's the stuff I worry about is like you said, your parents sound like good people.
Yeah, my mom founded a massive nonprofit responsible for millions of community service hours.
There's just things that we all learn and later on. As we all learn more, and so we talk a lot about what are we going to find out we're doing with our kid right now that's just fucking them up? You just don't know. Everybody thought they were doing a good job. Most of them, people who were trying anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think you'll want kids later?
Maybe. I'm still trying to figure out if that's what's for me, if that's part of like, if that will get in the way with my life's purpose, or if it'll help my life's purpose.
What do you feel is your life's purpose?
I feel specifically I have a gift in seeing truths within behaviors, so I'm good at keeping my friends accountable, and I'm willing to do so even when it's uncomfortable, and there's not enough people willing to do that. So I feel like that's definitely one of my purposes in this world is to just like give someone that eye from the outside, like, hey, you could correct this, or like, let me help you fix this, or because a lot of people will just let their friends do destructive shit, and like, so that's kind of one of them, and the other one is I think just to make people feel seen in emotional ways,
What are some ways you think people aren't seen?
People aren't seen for their motive, and people will like tell you all the time like intention is separate from impact, and that just because you have good intentions doesn't mean that you shouldn't not get in trouble for doing something wrong. And I really think so people have like these emotional intentions that don't get recognized a lot when they do stuff, and I think intention is super important because it's the only thing. Like, you know, there's the intention, there's the actual action, there's the result. It's the only thing that shows character is the intention. And so, you know, how people feel and why they do stuff is just kind of overlooked. And like,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. How do you think you fix that?
Point it out. You say something. One thing I do is I don't let a single nice thing go unsaid. And then, you know, I just point out when I see stuff. I just say what I see and say what what I observe. And try to be non-judgmental about it.
Yeah, that's the hard part, right? The non-judgmental.
I practice that a lot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, meditation is being non-judgmental. It's the act of not judging the current moment.
Yeah, that's difficult, man. You know, I'm still. Again, to go back to Bill Burr, I think that's one of the reasons I really like him is I enjoy listening to his podcast also, and he just turns it on by himself, rambles for an hour about whatever he's thinking about or dealing with that day, even if it's just sports or something, you know. And but watching him or listening to him, watching his stand-up comedy, listening to his podcast while he's gone from a single guy to being married, now he's got 2 kids, and he's had to manage this anger, this rage over minor things. Yeah. One of his great early stand-up specials is all that. He's not married yet, but he's just talking about his inability to even enjoy pumpkin shopping around October. You know, he's so angry that his girlfriend gets to be happy about pumpkins. And it was back when people still. That's sad, man. It's back when people still used the F word, FAG.
Yeah.
And his bit has that a lot, but it's a clever bit, and I think even if people get upset about him using that word, what he's saying is how every man's fear of being called that word by their friends is what keeps them from being happy and suppressing any emotion possible. Is that like if you have the urge to suddenly hug a puppy or comment about like that was a delicious cookie or something, that insinuates that you want to suck something. And it's a clever, intelligent bit about how horrible it is to have that mindset in this world.
No, man.
But again, so watching him develop through his rage over the years and listening to these podcasts where he talks about like, you can't do this, you know, here's how you do that. I feel like that has made me more calm because little things that I know are wrong, but if you get outraged by them, you're not going to change anything.
Sometimes
you're not going to change anything.
Guilty of that,
which makes it even more frustrating. You know, when you just know like this is fucked and I'm angry about it, but.
Well, one good way to think about it is just a fact of life is that anger makes people less likely to receive what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then if you can remember that, then it's a little easier not to get angry sometimes. I used to struggle with that.
It's just easier said than done, right? Yeah. I mean, that will probably be my life's project is learning to
curb that a little bit.
Yeah, and kind of going back to what you said is understanding that even some of these things that make you angry, that wasn't that person's intention.
Yeah.
You know, and so much of it is just true. And I don't mean it in a negative way, just true ignorance.
Yes.
You know, just true. This person genuinely did not know that was having that effect on someone. Instead of me just being like, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, man. I found that like integrating the feminine like energy and like existence, like from a spiritual standpoint, has been really big for my anger. Just trying to add more nurturing, try to add more empathy, more compassion, which really shouldn't be seen as purely feminine things. But like, I think that, you know, not being afraid to be a little feminine can really actually balance a dude out.
Yeah, that I'm trying to think how to say it. When I was growing up, like I said, honestly, man, I feel like the late 90s were a great time for, I mean, every generation has its problems.
Yeah.
I feel like it was a great time for people being very accepting of other people. There was this big movement of, you know, we didn't care if you were gay, we didn't care about your race, we didn't care about these things. But it was on a way more understood level in terms of like,
you might have this wrong, that's okay, kind of thing.
Well, and yeah. We just thought, you know, Oh, they're this. Oh, okay. Well, cool. Do you like a beer? We're at this field party. Do you like a beer?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, so what is that then? You know, where and I think because those people were still afraid of maybe having a lot of their true self out there, that they were also maybe a little less confrontational about it. And there's like pros and cons all around there, right? That's a whole other conversation. But I do think there was something about, maybe it's just because I loved that era of music. I feel like that era of music was really accepting of these differences. You know?
I think.
And I thought that was a really beautiful part. I know there's a lot of other bad stuff, but
I think that's when punk became more like accepting, like almost like grunge.
Yeah,
it's like where punk became a little more like
grunge was kind of like a good movement of we don't give a shit. We just don't want to be like this previous generation. I mean, I'm from a generation where our parents just, and I say that broadly, right? It's like we saw some of the first, like I think there was a commercial for Cheerios cereal where they had a mixed race couple and people were outraged.
Oh, no.
You know, like, so as a child, I remember seeing adults being outraged, like, and there were these weird arguments you'd hear adults talking about. They'd be like, I don't mind that they're together. I don't mind that they had a kid, but they need to think about the hard life they're going to make for that kid being this way. That was the kind of logic that was going around.
That's so crazy.
Whereas in the music groups, people were just, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that's our bassist.
Yeah, that's just John and Carol. They're cool. And so that's what I mean is I guess it was tense in some ways, but you could feel the change coming of like, And then those same people who were making those comments that are now older, and it's kind of like your parents when you talk to them about suicide, they're like, no, we realized that probably wasn't a battle worth. Like, that was nothing. There was nothing there. We just, I don't know why we were angry about that.
We were scared.
Right. Yeah, because I'm sure you've heard of how it's always the other ones. Like, pick your thing. Like, you wear a black shirt, and I've heard people with black shirts, you know, they always rob. They steal stuff every time they come over to your house, right? Yeah. And then you're like, oh, no, I got a buddy. He's in a black shirt. He never stole from me. And they're like, no, he's the good one. He's one of the good ones. But the other ones, that's the ones you got to watch out for. And then you meet another person in a black shirt, and they don't steal either. And they're like, well, you know, we know two of them that are pretty good, but the other ones you really need to watch out for. And it's always an other. It's never the ones you know. And then that starts breaking it all down. So it really is just about exposure, you know, getting around all this stuff that you don't understand.
No, yeah, definitely. It's funny. Like, I don't have a problem with it at all, but it's really funny to see. Like, I saw some show nowadays, like where a family had 3 gay children, and I'm like, I don't think there's any family with 3 gay children. But you know,
it's like
go ahead.
It's like look.
Yeah.
If this you feel like is your mission to, but also I'm just looking at it from a plot, a movie. Like, is this realistic?
Yeah.
Is this really out there?
I mean, but it's also not very realistic how many white people were in movies for so long.
We're working on it, okay? We're working on it. Yeah, I mean, it's, I don't know. It's all tense in some ways, but then it's also relaxed and more cool than it's ever been in other ways.
Yeah.
And I think you just roll with it. That's how it's always going to be. But I don't know. I think that's why I've always loved music. It's the great. If it's done well, people are just thinking about music. They don't care about anything else.
Yeah,
no,
that's it.
Yeah, and now you guys are a part of it with this new album, man.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited, and we're gonna have another song come out in a couple months. So yeah.
So you're just gonna drop singles for a while? You think? What's the plan,
man? Forever.
Yeah.
Like every 2 months, gonna drop a single I don't think we'll do another album for a long time.
Okay. Why is that?
It's a waste of time and money.
You say that, but I'm a lover of the theme of an album.
I know. I love that too, man. I do. I love albums. I only listen to albums.
Yeah.
However, you don't.
I feel like you're a guy who could throw themes together extremely well.
Yeah, I think so too. You might see that. I forgot to mention I'm curating a show at Rubber Gloves February.
Oh.
Promoting it with. It's called Tornado Time Chaos Fest, and I'm promoting it with Capturing the Now. Mm-hmm. Erica, she's this photographer and promoter, and we're teaming up, and we got Cure for Paranoia, Primo Danger, Stan Francisco, who used to be in Cure for Paranoia, and Brotherhood and Overshare, all playing. At Rubber Gloves. We're going to have tarot. We're going to have Reiki. We're going to have food. We're going to have a themeless costume contest. So you're talking about putting together themes. Like, yeah.
I'm just happy to hear people are still doing fun stuff at Rubber Gloves. I don't get to go up to Denton as much as I want to. And that spot had so many incredible things happening all the time.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, I love that place. But yeah, I think it's just going to be singles for a while because you kind of get, when you put out an album, not every song gets listened to by people, and it's just better for the algorithm to put out single.
What if you put out singles for the algorithm?
And then you compile them into albums?
No, you put out albums on your MP3 players that you're going to sell.
Oh, that's only physical albums. That's kind of crazy.
It'd be fun, right? We got these singles, but did you get this bootleg album? It's got 2 extra songs.
Yeah, that's
you know,
the move,
like what you don't know about like the CD days is you'd
CDs still work, dude.
Well, I know, but nobody's buying them, right?
Some people are doing this free shipping and handling thing, so they give you some like conversion, some offer, and it's like, oh yeah, you give your email, you get this CD for free shipping and handling, and then you turn the CD in, but when they accept the CD offer, then you like offer to like, oh, here's 50% off shirts or whatever, and you make sure the margin's right, and so you use it to upsell other stuff.
Yeah,
the free CD.
Well, when was the last time you think you put a CD into anything?
Never. I never did, man.
That's the problem, right? I mean, like, I think most cars are made without a CD player now.
Yeah.
As much as I love CDs, I don't know that they're going to have the resurgence like vinyl did. I mean, they tried really hard with cassettes, and there's a lot of people who are diehard cassette listeners. But
they sound cool, man.
They do, but I don't think it's just not going to come back. Streaming is just so easy.
Yeah.
It's so convenient. And I think if you love something, you find the physical form that you like to purchase it on.
Yeah, the digital little players that I have, I think that's the move. Man.
But you know, the CDs, they used to have, if you got a first run of something, it would have like hidden bonus tracks and things.
Yeah.
So this could be your MP3 player where you throw in the, hey man, this has got goods you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, I know that's what we've been doing. Yeah. Or what I plan on doing. Yeah, just gonna put every demo. I have hundreds of demos in Ableton. Like. And
jeez, man, you know how fun that could be if, let's just say, best case scenario, right? You guys, this band just explodes and it just becomes this phenomenal band that's loved by so many people, right?
Soon enough, man.
And people are just swapping and selling MP3s of, you know, and it's not enough to have, like, you know, because it'll get bootlegged, it'll get put out there for free as soon as you have it out there on that MP3 player. But when someone's like, no, I got this physical, I got this at Club Dada 2025, man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that's maybe what you need to think about is how you're going to mark these up so that they're like, this was the first run of 20. Some way to scratch that in there or something.
Some like custom visual on it of some sort. Yeah.
Where if you as the band see it, you're like, oh, wow, so you got that then, you know, at that show or something.
Oh, wow.
That way people get something to be a little excited about, you know?
Yeah.
You can't get excited about a stream too much.
No, not really.
It's just not. I don't know.
Those canvases, they're trying to make it a little more exciting on Spotify with the canvases.
I mean, it's fine, but, you know, it's only convenience. Yeah. It's only convenience. Yeah.
And it's not even like WAV files or anything like that.
Well, look, as somebody with an audio engineering background, you know that's the biggest problem with all this streaming is it's just crushing dynamics of recordings. You know, that's just gone through so many things by the time it hits your ears. Mm-hmm. That is something I miss about CDs, man. CDs sounded great compared to these streams. But
were they 44? I can't remember what bit they were. No.
I'd have to look it up again. I don't know. It's been so long since I've been messed with one. But I mean, I haven't bounced anything out to a CD in like a decade, probably.
Me neither, man. They don't exist anymore.
Yeah, but it did sound good. I still think vinyl sounds the best. Tape's got its cool qualities. If you love it, you love it, right? For me, I can skip it. It doesn't matter to me. Mm-hmm. And then I think CDs are the second best outside of live. Just a really good live thing.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So singles for a while. How many do you think you'll drop? How many you got coming out?
Oh, we have one we recorded in 2 hours, and the song is pretty much done.
Yeah.
Like it's really crazy how fast the setup streamlines everything.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we plan to try to write one a week for a long time, and then start putting them out pretty soon.
One a week?
Yeah, write one a week. Yeah, put out like one a month, and then just.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not lying, man. You're hustling.
No, I'm doing a lot, man. I spend a lot of time marketing. I spend a lot of time every day emailing people, just this stuff. Like, I mean, it's like it's easily a second job. I spend 5 or 6 hours a day on this stuff. Like,
all right, well, good, man. I hope you stay on that because the only way before any of this was released, I just saw one of the videos and I was like, this shit's cool. I really like this. I think I messaged you and was like, any plans for something? And you're like, yeah, a couple months, something's coming out. And I was like. Perfect. So keep it up, man. It works. Even if it's granular right now, it's working.
Yeah, no, it's gonna. I mean, hey, we're at like 8K monthly Spotify right now.
People are listening.
Yeah.
That's no small feat.
Yeah.
It's easy to look at 8,000 and think only 8,000 when you look at, like you said, when you look at the people, that small percentage that get all these millions. But 8,000 is 8,000. If I set you in a theater that held 8,000 people and you got to play a show, it'd be a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And you're doing that monthly now with your listeners, right?
Yeah, man.
So fuck yeah.
Fuck
Be hyped about it, dude. Anyway, thanks for coming out, man. Anything else you want to throw out there before you get off? This will be out next week.
Just check out Overshare on all the things.
Overstimulated's the EP.
Yeah, Overstimulated. It's about being overstimulated.
Right on, man. Appreciate you dropping by.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.